The emerald ash tree borer is an insect that bores into ash trees to lay its eggs.
And the larva then migrates through the inside of the tree surface, and that's actually what kills the tree, the feeding of the larva. And it shuts off the uptake of nutrients up into the canopy or the leaves of the tree. So once that takes place, then that ash tree will eventually start dying out because of the loss of nutrient uptake.
Perkins says the ash borer is pretty to look at, but deadly for our ash trees.
It is about a 3-inch borer that is a metallic green, really beautiful looking borer, but it's very devastating to the ash trees in the community and worldwide actually. And it's migrated into this country from Europe, and it's been about 13 to 14 states, and most recently it's finally reached the state of Nebraska.
The ash borer is now in Douglas County. This is how you know if your ash tree is infested.
The top of the tree will start dying out slowly and come down, losing its leaves. And once the larva is matured, then it digs its way back out and exits the tree. So some of the symptoms that you would see in a ash tree that is infested would be the dieback of the foliage of the tree, and then the exit wounds on the bark along here would be about the size of a D shape coming out of the bark.
There are several ways to tell if you have ash trees on your property.
The easy way to identify an ash tree is simply by the leaves. Once they're out, there's about 7 to 11 leaves that look similar to this. Well, this is an ash, but they're side by side, and there's 7 of them to the leaf. The other thing that you can look at is the way the tree grows and branches out. The branches come up out of the trunk, and they're side by side branches as they grow. And the other characteristic that you would look for is the bark. And the bark on the tree is, you can tell by a diamond-shaped, kind of a diamond-shaped pattern to the bark.
While tough to prevent against the ash borer, there are things that you can do.
If the borer is within a 15-mile radius of your tree, then there are some options for injectable treatments for that tree to prevent that borer from gaining or infesting the ash tree.
If you opt to treat the tree, it'll have to be a continuous treatment.
Because most treatments that I'm aware of are a 2-year treatment. So once you treat that, you would have to continue to treat that every 2 years.
The tree's worth can determine if you want to treat your tree.
If your tree is a beautiful tree and you have a high value to it, then perhaps a treatment option would be something that you prefer to do. If you had a tree that was perhaps compromised, wind damaged, or in a spot where it's growing into a bad area or into some power lines, things like that, then you would strongly consider whether or not you wanted to treat and try to prevent that.
Once the tree is infested, the best option is tree removal.
It's going to eventually die. It won't die overnight or within a week or two, but within a year or two it'll finally die out. So best option, in my opinion, would be to remove the tree and plant a different tree in its place, and one that would be of a nice variety that would fit within your landscape.